I hope you enjoyed hearing those great tips on effective communication. The asking open-ended questions and paraphrasing tips are my favorite. Now that we've talked about effective communication, let's transition and talk about dealing with sensitive conversations and issues. Now, you're more than likely to deal with these type of conversations at the latter half of the program. It's usually closer to the tail end of the program that the kids start to trust you and feel comfortable opening up. But before we go any further, let's do a little role play. I want to test your comfort level with handling the following sensitive discussions. Now, don't be afraid. Go for it. Give it a shot. Now, was that hard for you? Not too bad, I hope. So just be aware, these are the likely scenarios you're going to encounter when working with our youth. And even if you're feeling a little uncomfortable with some of the sensitive discussions, just remember this. You're never alone. You've got your co-mentors, and we're always here to help you whenever you get in a jam. So now I'm going to tell you, well, I'm going to review with you actually, the best practices with dealing with sensitive discussions. Number 1, listen with sincere interest and understanding. Please give your students your undivided attention. Don't forget to put those cell phones away. Number 2, avoid causing attention and keep the conversations really short. Stay away from discussing sensitive issues in front of the larger group. The other students or the team are probably not mature enough to have these types of conversations openly. In addition, you want to keep the temperature in the room positive and always upbeat, so try to avoid creating a mood of doom and gloom. Also, if a student's getting a little overly emotional about a story he or she is sharing, simply take them outside for a breath of fresh California air, and then just wait until they're ready to rejoin the group in better spirits. So remember, keep the sensitive discussions short and try not to probe deep into emotional issues. Now, if you ever feel a conversation requires some additional attention, and that might happen, just complete the appropriate forms that we'll tell you later about in your live training. Now, I'm going to give you 2 catchphrases. There are 2 catchphrases that you can use to keep that conversation short and sweet, yet show some empathy. You can show your empathy with the simple, I understand, or I hear you. But let me put each example into better context. Let's start with, I understand. So let's say you want to tell a student, I understand how you are feeling. I hope things get better for you. That's simple. I understand. I hear how you feel. I know how you're feeling. I hope things get better for you. Now let's try the I hear you. I hear you. I hope everything works out in the end. Again, I hear you. I hope everything works out. I'll throw it in for you in the end. So did that help? Let me repeat it one more time. You can say I understand or I hear you, followed by a little hope or a little positive reassurance, and then just simply move on. Another way of showing empathy when discussing sensitive issues, and only when appropriate, mentors, is to relate to the situation if you can. Here are 2 additional catchphrases that you can use if you've had a similar experience. I just want to make sure I emphasize, if you've had a similar experience. I've had that happen, right? I've had that happen, or I know how that feels. So here's some examples, putting those into use. Let's say a student tells you that he or she is dealing with a bullying situation. I can relate, have had this experience. And this is kind of what I would say. I'm sorry you're being bullied. I've had that happen, but some way, somehow, it made me a stronger person. All right, that's simple. I'm sorry that you're being bullied. I've had that happen, but some way, somehow, it made me a stronger person. It was that simple. So now that you've learned a few new tips, let's give those same scenarios from earlier one more try.